Good afternoon to our international viewers, and thank you for joining us once again for our daily English news edition. I'm Daniel Cook, your host, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m., presenting a translated version of today's top news stories. Today, Prime Minister Rama held a closing press conference for the year to report on the progress of his government over the past 12 months. He said that this has been a very important year and one that brought successful reforms. He said, "Today we can declare with full conviction that we are at the intermediate stage of our state-building reforms. The intervention has already begun, and we can say that there has been comprehensive recovery. We have received the candidate status, and we are in the process of opening EU negotiations. We have reached the objective of steady economic increase, and we will attain the economic growth of more than 3% in the coming year," said the Prime Minister. The justice reform remains the primary goal of Rama's government, but he announced that he has not personally read the draft and that he has done so intentionally in order to avoid interfering in the work of the experts. The justice reform will soon come to a vote in Parliament, and the Prime Minister gave his assurance that it will be consensual. Mr. Rama spoke about the efforts to divide the votes of the majority, giving his assurance that these attempts will fail. Speaking about the opening of negotiations with the EU, the Prime Minister said that Brussels should have opened the negotiations already, as according to him, Albania has made sufficient progress in the reforms. He also commented on the decriminalization law, saying that the new law is the most severe in all of Europe. He invited the opposition to prove their accusations that there are 19 incriminated MPs from the majority. The Prime Minister also spoke about the difficulty of annulling the concessions that were given by the former government because of the legal provisions. He gave good news about the health care, saying that soon getting care from your family doctor will be free. He also had good news for the truck drivers who exchange goods with Italy, announcing that the problem of double taxation will be eliminated. The Democratic leader Lajmin Basha has reacted to the statements of the Prime Minister today during his press conference. On Facebook, Mr. Basha posted a balance sheet that, according to him, represents the real situation of the country. He accused the Prime Minister of increasing the energy price, taxes, public debt, and reducing consumption, exports, imports, and salaries. He writes that the Prime Minister did not increase the pensions as he promised. Furthermore, he says the Prime Minister increased the oil price, did not make public investments, dismissed 73,000 people from their jobs, and stole $400 million from the customs and tax directories. The Democratic chairman claims that the Prime Minister is favoring his own allies, reducing the economic aid for the poor, and collapsing the healthcare sector. Mr. Basha also accused the Prime Minister of bringing criminals into the politics and of imprisoning the citizens over sales receipts. According to him, the Prime Minister stole and destroyed the local elections, and the OSCE has declared him to be the richest Prime Minister with a net worth of €200 million. In an interview for Aura News, the Democratic chairman Lajmin Basha said that a technical government and early elections are the only solution to lead the country out of the social and economic crisis. He said that in order to achieve this goal, the Democratic Party will lead the people to popular protest and civil disobedience, and may attempt to block the institutions that are accused of corruption. Mr. Basha admitted that the internationals were skeptical about the sincerity of the Democratic Party concerning the justice reform. But in his opinion, the Venice Commission proved their clear vision and intentions. Basha claimed that his party has a clear program to lead the country out of the crisis. "We have real proposals," he said. "Our intention is not to return to power. Our aim is to save Albania from this crisis. We have the potential, the vision, and the team to do this, and I am convinced that the Albanians will trust us," said the Democratic chairman. Mr. Basha went on to say that the Democratic Party will participate in the committee to amend the electoral code. He stressed that the political will for free elections is the most important thing, since according to him, the local elections proved that the goal of the majority is to manipulate the people's vote. Today's meeting of the City Council was kicked off with debate over the drafted budget and fiscal package for Tirana municipality. Mayor Veliaj declared that the budget is $120 million, 3 times higher than the previous budgets for the city. He said that the increased budget will be reflected in more public investments and more services to the public, announcing that under the current plan, public investments account for 39% of the 2016 budget spending. Regarding taxes, the mayor said that only 3 out of 9 current taxes will remain, and that the city will work toward eliminating the others. The opposition members spoke out against the budget and the fiscal package, claiming that it will increase taxes and impoverish the citizens even further. They indicated that they will do everything in their power to block this budget from being implemented, making note that the amendments to the local tax law have not entered into power yet because they have not been decreed by the president. Mayor Veliaj held a meeting today with the Association of Urban Transport to discuss their request to increase the ticket prices for the city buses. After the meeting, the representatives of the Transport Association said that they did not reach any agreement with the mayor. In a media outlet, they declared that they did not even discuss an increase in the ticket prices, but only the price index over the past years. They indicated that the municipality has a solid long-term plan for urban transportation, but that this plan will require time. One rep made the following comments. Currently, there is no final result. The mayor talked about the price index for the past years, told us that they have solid plans, and told us to wait. But we have waited for 8 years, and they only ever say that everything will be fixed. The association considers this issue to be vital, and they ask that it not be used politically. This is not a political problem, said the rep, but it is a vital problem for Tirana's citizens. Tomorrow we will make our decision public. After the oil spill that caused serious pollution off the coast of Durrës, the government has decided to stop any dumping of waste in the Adriatic Sea. The ships must now turn over their waste to licensed operators, and they must receive a certificate proving the delivery of their waste. In addition, ships will no longer be allowed to anchor in the Albanian ports without first paying an environmental fee. The Ministry of Environment has decided to levy environmental taxes on each vessel in order to avoid any further pollution of the sea. This decision was adopted at the last meeting of the Council of Ministers, who ruled that any ship docked at a port in Albania must deliver all of its waste to a licensed disposal operator before they will be allowed to leave the port. On their part, the Ministry of Transportation will ensure that the cost of waste treatment and disposal will be covered by the ecological fee imposed upon the ships. The new rules also stipulate that the operators contracted by the General Maritime Directorate must possess the necessary capacity to collect the waste generated by the ships and to ensure the treatment of this waste in their plants. The plants themselves must be certified and licensed by the environmental authorities, according to the standards and the norms of Europe. All this is expected to take effect within the first 6 months of the new year after the environmental fee is approved by the Ministry of Finance. The regulation is intended to put a final stop to the pollution of the sea by the ships that dock in Albanian ports. Thanks for joining us again, ladies and gentlemen, and remember to tune in again at the same time tomorrow for more translated news in English. Have a great night.